Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Command Bridge. This is your captain speaking. We have a special guest today, if you could not notice. This is whichever
wrong
box.
direction.
other way.
We have a special guest.
No, Drew, that's
Alyssa.
wrong.
Oh, so there.
Yes. So there.
For me, she's there.
But yeah. So special guest Alyssa. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Is fantastic to have you here because if you did not know, Alyssa spends a lot of time in the Disney parks, which is very, very good for our topic
Endeavors.
of discussion today.
Yeah.
Which is how Disney and how Disney's politics have affected Star Wars in general.
And not just
We
politics, but like really all just the way they handle it and the way they implemented it into the parks and how, and just ever since really they bought it way back when in 2013, 2012.
I think was it 2011? I think it was 2011.
It was one of those years because I know Force Awakens came
back.
out in 15. So
I
that
can look it up and put it in post.
Yeah.
Right here.
We'll fix it in post. I hate those
This
words. I hate
this is the year. This is the year right here. This is it.
You say we'll fix it in post,
All
and
right.
I instantly I'm like,
Cringe.
Hey, I'm editing this, so that's my job.
oh yeah. So if you say fix it in post, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, we have our first topic of discussion on this or subtopic, I guess, and that is the movies. How Disney's Star Wars movie specifically. We'll get to TV shows later, but how Disney has affected the movie franchise of Star Wars.
You're
Yeah.
wading
Does
in a
anyone
dangerous
have
territory
anything?
here. 'Cause
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything?
See, okay.
We all are impartial to different
Yeah.
trilogies.
Trilogies. Yeah. So I'll start off with just this statement. The movies, like I said before,
Are not
they're good
objectively
in their
bad.
own. They're good in their own right. They're good when you watch them
Absolutely.
They're good when you watch them in the theater. They're not good when you watch them multiple times. They don't age well. But to me, they tried. If they would have kept J.J. Abrams from all three, I don't think it would have gotten as much hate. But they switched
that's what
out for
I've
Ryan
been saying
Johnson.
this entire time.
Because like Rise of Skywalker, that was a pretty hype movie besides some bits. Force Awakens was a great movie. I would put that up there even with some of the original 6. And then episode 8.
Because it had potential,
Mhm.
but the other two killed it.
Yeah.
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 I will stand by that statement to the day I die.
And I think
And episode 8 it's a great movie by itself. It's objectively not within the story of the other two. It's a fantastic movie. Ryan Johnson is a fantastic director. I've watched a couple of his other movies and they're incredible.
He's just not for
He's
Star
amazing.
Wars.
yeah.
It's
And even
not
then,
for Star
The
he-
Wars.
Last Jedi.
He might have been great, but when say you start for like an analogy here, say you start a drawing, you do 1/3 of the drawing, then pass it on to someone else and expect them to do 1/3, and then you got to go back and finish 2/3. It doesn't work. It's not consistent, and it's more than one person's story, which they have gotten better at in the TV shows because I think the TV shows are really, really good.
They've all been fantastic.
So
So
there's usually multiple directors.
and there's multiple directors, but they've gotten that down instead of
They have like a
not
story
having it down.
writer that the directors follow.
Yeah.
Well, and it's Favreau and Filoni that are over the shows. And to be completely honest, I feel like they should just take over everything creative control wise because all of the shows have been absolutely phenomenal. There have been problems with the shows, but for the most part, overarching, the shows have been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Mandalorian is incredible. Both seasons of it. Like they managed to keep it rolling even after that first season was just so amazing. Kenobi was great. Andor is more than likely, it's shaping up to be really, really good. Bad Batch has been fantastic,
Batch
and
is
I'm
pretty
excited
good,
for the
yeah.
second season of that one as well. So really, I think Filoni and Favreau need to just take over.
Yeah, I think
Because don't get me wrong, I appreciate having Kathleen Kennedy up there as a woman. It's kind of neat to see someone up in the leadership, but
She's not.
I don't
that
really
great.
love her. I don't really love her.
She's not
doing the
not
greatest
performing
job. So
well.
I'm like, get Filoni and Favreau up there, and then wait for me to come along, and then I'll come and take the
Yeah.
higher echelons.
I think
I think
need
if
to.
there was one person to take the crown, I think it would be Filoni.
Filoni.
Honestly,
Filoni is the only one
Spec-
who
For speci-
knows Star
specifically
Wars.
for Star Wars.
Yeah,
We love
Favreau
the
can
man in
take
the
over.
cowboy hat. We love Filoni.
yes, we do.
stand for
Favreau
Filoni's
can take
house.
over for Marvel.
yeah.
And this
Favreau
is
was
this
good
is
as well.
said in the
Yes.
the making of the Mandalorian or whatever. It's on Disney Plus. Filoni tells
Funny.
like the group whatever. He says like he never did any of his directing without like really considering, is this what George would do, or in some cases even having George on set. And like really going back to like, that's his child. You don't take someone's child and then just,
Yeah.
what do I want to do with this?
Exactly.
No, you think, okay, what would their parent
Yeah.
like? I think in this moment, that is George's child, and as much as Disney owns it now, I still feel like we should stick to those roots as much as we can. And I feel like
'Cause that's
that's
the other thing
a
is
general agreement.
The original trilogy, funnily enough, we were talking about how, like, if you have one director, you don't hand it off to someone else because then it ends up getting
Mhm.
messed up. The original trilogy, all three movies are directed by a different person. They're all directed by different people.
But they all
if I'm
had
not
George
mistaken-
to refer to.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
but
all
George
had
was
George.
over it the entire time,
Oh yeah.
which
They're-
is why
yeah.
they
George
still
was
connected
there.
and they still worked.
George was 100%
And it
fact,
was
there.
George in his greats. Like, I believe Empire Strikes Back was Lawrence Kasdan. And I can't remember who did Return of the Jedi, but it was like George Lucas' close friends, like people that he knew, which Abrams and Ryan Johnson are really close friends. They've worked together on some stuff. And J.J.
But they
Abrams
just didn't
was
see
over
eye to
The
eye.
Last Jedi, but it just fell apart for some reason.
Yeah. Have they
It was
ever
because he
came
had
out-
to pick up the loose ends that Ryan Johnson's Last Jedi like just left there, and have to like reweave it back into a story that he had in mind.
Have
Mhm.
they ever came out and said why they switched directors?
I don't think they have, but it's funny. You were saying tying up things, Drew, and that's what I think the shows are doing. And what I think they're going to do in a very subtle, very good way is they're going to take all these like plot holes that people complain about in the sequels
Yeah.
and fill them in. Like Mandalorian's already started doing it. I think Kenobi even did a little bit of it where they've started filling in these gaps that we're like, how did that get there? How did this happen? Which personally to me, as someone who's interested in, you know, the nitty gritty of film, that's impressive to go back and have the ability to go back with these shows and be like, hey, here's a hole here. How can we fill it
Yeah,
and to
let's
perfectly
fix it.
execute it?
Which you see
I
that
think
you see that a lot in Rebels. I think is one of the best for fixing plot holes during
oh
that time.
yeah,
Like that one scene
Yes.
where Obi-Wan goes, kills Maul, then walks right over to Luke, and I'm pretty sure, I can't remember if he's like an adult in this or a kid, but Obi-Wan is, you know, on his little bantha or whatever he's riding. I don't remember exactly. And then he looks over and there's Luke staring off into the twin sunsets from, I believe, the scene in episode 4. And then you hear Aunt Beru go, Luke. And then Obi-Wan's sitting there watching after he just killed Darth Maul. And I'm like,
Yeah, and it
that
just
is how
connects
you
the
tie
two.
into stuff.
that's cinema.
Oh, that yes, because I remember watching that, and when she called
But it wasn't
Luke, I was like,
cinema.
That's the scene.
oh my gosh.
That's the scene.
It's the scene from episode 4.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And that was
Speaking of
amazing.
Rebels, I'm so excited to see Thrawn again.
Mm.
I'm ready. Whenever we have a Thrawn discussion day, let me know. I will wear the earrings and everything. Like,
I want to read my Thrawn trilogy because I just got a bunch of new Star Wars books. I'm currently
do
reading
it.
Darth Vader by James Luceno. It's pretty good. But I do have Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and then Last Command, which is like the 3 best of the Star Wars books, like undisputed. Everybody says that. And I have them
Yeah,
all.
so you've got the
finally.
legends.
Yeah.
I've got the canon ones, but they're written by the same guy. And Timothy Zahn
Timothy Zahn.
is an absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic author. The only
Mhm.
problem is his battle scenes get so freaking confusing. I'm
Oh
like,
yes.
Timothy, please. I don't know what's going on. I'm
Especially
sorry,
like
I don't understand
his
this.
bits with Thrawn. Like I know in the Legends trilogy, he talks with this guy about art, and I swear it goes on for at least 4 chapters. And I'm like,
Now the art things I like hearing him talk about art because it's interesting because now I've started looking at it like that too.
Yeah.
yeah, Thrawn's
But sorry,
so
I
smart.
digress.
Though. But yeah,
I digress.
we got to save that for another episode.
That's
Thrawn
that's
was such a good
I could
villain,
talk about
though.
that all day.
So I have our second. Speaking of the TV shows, our second talking point is the TV shows.
We kind of already covered that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did,
we could.
Uh,
I do have a little bit more to say about the TV shows, and that is TV shows are great. 1, they need to be longer. 2, they need to do better of cleaning up the slow speed chases. That is a big thing we've seen, a big trend recently.
Oh my gosh.
Like Leia running away from the people, which I love that actor. She is great. She's one of my favorite Star Wars
She's so
actors.
cute.
I love that
She's
actor.
so sweet.
But whoever wrote that chase and made her run around and then full aged adult males like and not able to catch them, like I mean, come on.
So bad.
And then you got
I was
the
sitting there because people had
Like,
told me
what?
about it, and I was like, "Oh, it can't be that bad." And then I was watching it, I was like,
This is bad.
"Who approved this? This is
Who
no,
gave this the green light?
no.
Yeah.
Who said yes on this
Yeah.
one? I'm sorry, this is bad."
and then the speeder chase in Book of Boba Fett when they all get on their things, and I noticed
Oh,
it.
that's
It was like
horrible.
it actually took me out of the immersion. I was like, these things are going like 3 miles an hour.
I have a love-hate relationship with
Yeah.
the space Vespas. I love them. They're cute. They don't fit on Tatooine.
No, not at all.
Like, I don't know
No.
what art person, like, I can understand an art person being like, "Oh, we're going to add contrast." That's too much contrast.
It's too much contrast.
It's
Too much
Which,
contrast.
for context, I feel like I should have given this earlier. Hi, I'm Elissa. I'm a film student. I'm really looking at art department. That's what I focus on. So I will talk all day about art and costumes and that design in film. So don't get me on that tangent.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't think that they fit. That just not.
they don't fit.
Not-
They're
no.
cyber
So
modded
bad.
people
So
on
bad.
like
yeah.
Moss Espa.
Such a cool design. Such a cool design. Not put in the right place.
Now, if you put them on Coruscant, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say you need
I
more
would,
like
have eaten it up.
us.
I would have eaten it up.
Corellia
That
would
fits
be a
in
good one too.
small-
like the
So-
lower district.
Yeah.
Ooh. They would have had
Yeah.
good contrast on Corellia.
We need to see
the
more
Ring of
Corellia.
Catherine from Rogue One. Yeah, we need
You know
to
where
see
they
less. Also,
Nah,
less
no, no.
Tatooine.
Yeah.
Less Tatooine.
It's time we
I am
move away from
tired
Tatooine.
Of Tatooine.
They
Tired of
really
Tatooine.
fit on Scarif. I think they fit on Scarif. I think
Yeah,
that's
they-
it.
I mean,
I think that's.
I don't know
Scarif?
how
You
you,
mean
would
the
have fit 'em
beach?
on Scarif, but they would have
the
fit Scarif.
Scarif is a beach.
Yes, but the
That
vibe
was
would have fit.
sarcasm. A sarcasm.
Yeah, well, you're still kind of.
I mean,
right.
I could see it, but in a way,
Yeah.
but not
Yeah.
entirely. They would have been cool, but like if they go swimming, then they're dead.
They're dead. Yeah.
That is true.
Well, it depends on where their mod is.
You have a point there.
It depends on where their mod is. If it's just their hand,
No,
then
it
it's like
Yes, because you're
I
just going to
mean,
swim like
yeah.
this.
Or you
One
start
hand out of the
swimming,
water.
and then you come back, and everybody's looking at you, and then you realize your hands like this. Sorry about that, guys.
Just-
Sorry.
I need a new hand.
need a new hand, guys.
Okay, I'm cutting that out. I'm cutting that out. No,
That one was funny, but we can't air that.
we're not having Garrett having a just popping a Nazi salute in the middle of the episode.
I have a reputation to uphold, people. I'm trying not to get canceled, okay?
No, it was just me angling my arm, but it's the Olympics.
Yeah, the wrong way.
Yeah, it's
Wrong
the
way,
Olympic
Garrett.
Olympic
salute.
Wrong way.
salute.
You could have done
Is
this.
up.
You could have done this. This? No.
All right, so
Bad.
just flip me and turn me some way that it's sideways.
Flip him upside down.
I'm gonna go have like After Effects or something to get that.
After Effects.
Just like send his arm in a janky direction.
Just like
All right, so
do it like this.
what
Like
is
Bethany
your
from
what is your
Stranger
point?
Things.
Your number 3, because we kind of got the TV shows. I think.
Also,
Yeah.
expect
One more thing: the volume is really cool, and it's one of the best things ever invented because I wish I had a volume because it's nice.
Wait a minute, I'm lost. The
volume?
Help me
Same.
out here.
The volume? Y'all don't know what that is?
Yeah.
The
No.
volume. Like the
I probably
room,
know what it is.
the room that like projects the lighting.
Oh, yeah, the volume stage. Sorry.
I could have sworn you just said
I've never
something
heard
about
I've
it
never
like
heard it
30
referred to
seconds
as-
ago.
I've never heard it referred to as just the volume. Like I call it the volume stage because we actually have one on campus at Full Sail that they just finished that is sick. Yes.
Are y'all allowed to use
yes,
it?
we have a volume stage on campus.
Are y'all allowed to
We
use
haven't
it?
started using it yet. They're going to try to integrate it into the program eventually. We haven't started using it yet. They've recorded some things on it. They actually did a Amazon Prime show. But yes, $3 million. Full Sail
Wow.
dropped $3 million and built a volume
Wow.
stage.
And they can't
It
build
is.
on
Is
campus
it- was it
housing?
worth it?
Dang.
Do what?
Was it worth it?
The
Oh my
$3
gosh,
million?
yes.
Yes.
The volume
Oh
is
my
like
gosh,
totally
yes.
it saves you a lot of money.
It's incredible. They can blow $3 million on a stage, but they can't blow anything on campus housing at all.
That's probably like
Well,
a
because they
room
stuck their
problem.
campus is literally they have just converted 5 or 6 different shopping centers into a campus. Like there is no way they could fit housing.
Yeah,
on that,
that's what I said.
unfortunately.
They said when we took a tour, they were like, "Yeah, we'll have on campus housing next year." Lies, lies
They didn't tell me
across
that.
the board. The
They didn't tell me
entire
that. They were like,
admissions
you had fun
department.
doing-
They
Had
were
fun
like, "Yeah, we'll probably have on campus housing by next year." Lies.
Keyword there was
They were
probably.
lying, and I wouldn't trust them
Yeah.
with my life.
It's all right. I don't need no fancy stage. I get to have Matthew McConaughey as a professor, so get wrecked.
Like actually,
Oh my gosh. I hate
Oh, well,
you.
it's not entirely confirmed yet because I'm not even there yet.
Yeah,
That'll be
'cause
next
he's just
year.
but he's the course director. But still, I was going to apply there
No,
just
he's a professor.
jokingly to see if I could get in, but
No, he's a professor. He has a class. Script to screen, I believe it's called.
Bruh.
He has a class, and I'm taking the class because he's from Texas. I mean,
It
Yeah.
goes, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next point. We got
yeah,
on
we
to
should
film
cut like
tangent.
all of that out.
next
Yeah.
point.
No,
takes
we won't cut it out.
some,
We'll leave it in because that's raw, uncut nature of the podcast.
What
But I also don't want to like
What ti-
give
what
away
time
like
are we
where
at?
all of us are located, so like they won't.
Oh,
come
that's
and
very
hunt down Alyssa.
generalized. Yeah, they won't
Look,
figure that out.
I've
Yeah.
given my location away a few times now on TikTok. If anybody comes and hunts me down,
They've just
So be it.
they've earned it.
No. One, they've earned it. 2, I get to fight someone.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Bro, if
I
you break
finally
in,
get to pull
I
out
have
the whip.
3 lightsabers ready to take you down. I don't care if you have a gun. I'll just
I
deflect
do.
it.
I have 3 of
I'll
them.
deflect them with my plastic blade.
I have 2. One's in my
I
room,
also
one's in
have
my
a
parents'
Leatherman
room.
with a
Fight
knife
me,
that's, like,
boy.
that long on it, so.
Yes, I have a lightsaber on demand.
If they come and hunt me
Mine's
down,
in my closet,
we
which
live
is
in
right there.
Texas. That should say everything.
Yeah.
Well, that should say everything. Everything
All
needs to be
right.
said there.
Next,
Okay. What are we at time wise?
we're about
I'm at it.
20 and
18.
a half minutes right now.
Yeah.
Is what I've got.
Same.
Same.
Oh, I need some more points.
Are you almost out?
I have 5.
Oh boy.
We're-
Okay,
we're
we
at
can
number 3.
stretch it. Well, we can
Uh,
talk about other stuff too. It don't matter.
Yeah, Star Cruiser's on here, so we'll be talking about that a while. Okay, so
Yeah.
number 3, expectation versus reality, and this is going to take a second of explaining. How has Disney introduced promo material and followed up on it? Like how is the follow up on promotional material
Oh, okay.
and the hype that it builds?
Okay, so let's start off with this. Almost the entirety of Galaxy's Edge was promoted as you're gonna get to go in here, you're gonna have live characters, your story is gonna change depending on what you do in the land. You're gonna have this bounty hunt thing, you're gonna have interactive magic bands, interactive apps, you're gonna be able to do stuff, say things, get into secret rooms. That was a big topic that came up back in 2019. I was, looking at everything. There was a time at 2019 where you could ask me something for any item for Galaxy's Edge, and I could tell you the price. That's how deep I was into it.
I remember that,
and I remember everything, and I remember all of these things that the interactive stuff, the characters, character acting. They did not mention that they were eventually going to build a whole ship out of it, and you had to pay $6,000 to get that. They were claiming that it was going to come with Galaxy's Edge, but that was a little white lie because they were like, you're going to have to pay $6,000 and go on a starship for it. And we never got the secret rooms. Secret rooms, Star Cruiser. They're in Star Cruiser. Interactive characters, Star Cruiser. The interactive app, Star Cruiser. While there is one in the parks, you don't really do much except for talk to NPCs and scan crates and hack a bunch of stuff. And there's just a lot of it that was not followed up on. And when it came out, it was great, but I was just kind of a little, actually, I think Galaxy's Edge launched August the 19th, like 3 years ago today or yesterday in Disneyland. It's sometime around this time, actually.
Let me consult Google.
Yeah, I'm about to consult Google too, but I think it came about, let's see, when did Galaxy's Edge open?
Wow.
It was for Disney World, by the way, not.
It was August 29th, 2019. So 3 years, 9 days from where we're sitting right now.
From Disneyland, I think. Yeah, Disneyland launched in August. But yeah.
No, Disney World was in August. Disneyland was May 31st, 2019.
Okay. I knew one of them was in August. But yeah,
ours was in August, East Coast.
It's coming up on 30 years now.
Mm-hmm.
3 years.
That's crazy.
And
it's been out for
absurd.
3 years.
It's came out for 3 years, and then they just now got Star Cruiser done. They just got Magic Band Plus integrated. So a lot of stuff that they promoted just hasn't really come into fruition. And mostly, besides, your few interactive ships, Galaxy's Edge is 2 rides in a shopping center. It's like, yeah.
But it is neat for the atmosphere. And it does play in a lot to like the people that have made it what it is. The cast members are fantastic. There for a while, they were getting kind of and then I think COVID, they all got, everybody got
I
home,
think COVID was the
and
biggest
everybody
part of
kind
that.
of realized how much they loved it because the cast members lately for me have been absolutely fantastic. Anytime I go in costume, they are so much fun to interact with. That's the other part of it is getting to go in costume. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's
But
really cool.
The people that have made it fantastic are honestly the people that have started doing the lightsaber meetups.
Yes.
I've been able to go to 2 now. I'm going to a 3rd, actually a week from today. And they make it absolutely fantastic because it changes the atmosphere at night when there's like 300, 400 people out there that are they're living their best lives. And like, they definitely didn't do everything they said they would. And I am kind of disappointed with how much we didn't get. But at the same time, if there is one place in the parks that you can always find me, it's in Galaxy's Edge. Like, it's just a place. Last year, I actually got bored one day. I had finished all my work for the day. And I was still writing at that point, which I'm getting back into writing. And I was like, I don't have anything else to do. I'm going to go sit in Galaxy's Edge and write. So I packed my computer into my bag, went to Galaxy's Edge, rode Rise of the Resistance, got dinner, and then sat in front of the Millennium Falcon and wrote. And
that is
just
cool. The
I wish, but I'm
ambiance
2
is very
states
nice.
away.
that's what Galaxy's Edge is for as a local. Is it's somewhere just to go, just to hang out, just to exist for a little bit and like forget. And like I love going to Oga's. If I can get an Oga's reservation, I will go to Oga's. Like,
I like
the
Oga's.
atmosphere.
All right,
And
so
it's not super
go-
expensive either. Like, it's decently priced.
Yeah, going back to expectation versus reality, we'll touch on Galaxy's Edge and Star Cruiser after. But so, how is the promotion material for the other stuff like movies, TV shows?
Promotion is
new-
good. Then they follow up with about 75% of the expectation. That's
It's better
usually
than
a
their
good
park
number.
stuff. It's better
Yeah.
than their parks, like promo versus reality. but it is still kind of off.
Yeah, you get about to that. Mandalorian was about a 90% hype to follow up ratio. Everything else was about 75% hype to follow up.
And they forget about projects like Andor.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, guys, Andor is coming out this year. It took them until like 2 months ago to give us the first trailer for Andor.
Yeah.
And
like,
it was like, and not to diss Kenobi, but it was because everybody was obsessed with Kenobi. And so that's what Star Wars bought into. And they were only showing Kenobi stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like, I love Kenobi, but I wasn't that invested in that because I like Obi-Wan, but that's not really my thing. So I'm sitting over here. I'm like, where's the Andor stuff? Where is that? Where is that to interest me? Because I'm not getting it. And now I'm worried, like, is it not that good? Is it bad? Are they not wanting to show it?
Yeah,
like,
and then the
what's
month long backup they had, because it was supposed to originally release like August the 31st, and now it's September the 20th.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out this week.
And you know, I like that they give us 3 episodes in one premiere, but I'm like, is that just a cheap like trade off for you not having it done? That's another thing. Like, it's cool to watch 2 episodes and all, but
the good thing is, though, my problem, and this is kind of digging into Marvel here, my problem with Marvel right now, they're doing too much and they're doing it too fast.
Yeah, like
Which
I
is
know
why we're getting all this
absolutely
CG
agree.
that's terrible. That's why the CG looks terrible, is because they're trying to pump it out. And that's why Star Wars, I'm kind of glad that they're delaying some stuff, is because they're sitting there and they're making sure that they're taking their time to finish everything and make sure it looks good before putting it out.
That's a
because in all
that's
honesty,
a good point.
the Star Wars fantasy or the Star Wars fan base is a little bit more volatile than the Marvel fan base.
Yeah.
And Star Wars knows they got to get it right or they're dead.
Literally, we will storm your building with lightsaber pitchforks. Like, but that's a good
my
point.
issue with
Not
Marvel
even a
right now
lie.
is I'm just like, I liked Marvel for a while, but I'm starting to get tired of it again because it is just so much. And She-Hulk's good. She-Hulk's good.
I had no idea that even came out.
I've only seen.
That's what it is. I didn't watch any of Miss Marvel. I didn't even know it came out. Didn't watch She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I want to watch She-Hulk, but I didn't know it came out. Like,
It's good. One episode, but it's good.
I like Moon Knight. Moon Knight was so good.
Oh, Moon Knight was
I
so
love
It was
good.
Moon
Oscar
Knight.
Isaac.
They
It was
killed
Oscar
him.
Isaac. He's a fantastic actor. They knew what they did with Moon Knight, and then they're like, yeah, we're not going to do a second season. Like, you have one of the best actors. Why would you not do a second season?
Wait, when did they say they're not doing
They're
a
not
second
doing it
season?
because Oscar Isaac only signed on for 1.
Well,
He
and
can
it's
sign
funny
on for another
because
one.
The director's daughter posted a TikTok a couple weeks ago where she was like, hey, why are we in Cairo? And she turns to her dad, and her dad goes, I don't know, ask him. And she turns to Oscar Isaac, and he's like, why else would we be in Cairo? And everybody was like, oh my gosh, they're making a second season. And then Kevin Feige was like, or the director came back and was like, no, we're not making a second season. Everybody was like, so then why are you in Cairo with Oscar Isaac?
No,
Because
they're
that's
totally
just
making
a
a second
casual
season.
trip that you take, hey, I'm going to go to Cairo with Oscar
with
Isaac,
the
which don't get me wrong.
director and Oscar.
I would love to go on that trip. Next time y'all go, please invite me.
Honestly.
No,
Like,
they're making
Why
a
am I left out of
second
this one?
season
I'm sorry.
because Moon Knight's like third personality was at the very end.
Jake Lockley was at the very end.
And there's
But-
no way they would not explore that.
Think about this,
They had-
though.
No, because within the like 10 seconds he was on screen, I was like, oh, I'm invested.
We got to get more.
had-
And
I
then
wanna see
more.
they haven't even solved their then they got to go stop Jake Lockley, and then maybe what's his name? The
Khonshu?
god Khonshu. Yeah, then
Khonshu,
maybe
yeah.
he's going to turn
Rusty
to the
Bird
villain,
God? Yeah.
and then you got to go stop him, or there's so much more they could do
Yeah.
that they didn't do.
And Daredevil. Moon Knight and Daredevil have interactions in the comics, and oh my gosh, I mean, I would pass out, but I really want to see Oscar Isaac and Charlie
And
Cox
Ryan
on the same
Reynolds.
screen.
Oh wait, no, you said Daredevil, not Deadpool.
One of the
Yes.
classic
He's
scenes.
Deadpool.
Random bullcrap. Go.
That's actually not a real comic panel.
Get me my money. What is it? Something like Dracula. Yeah, give me my money, Dracula.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still
no. Sorry,
funny.
we
Dude,
went on the
Moon
Marvel
Knight
tangent.
is
I started that
great.
one.
Well, we're
Yeah.
actually kind of trying. We're doing a little bit of everything. We started in Star Wars. We're gonna stay kind of mainly focused on Star Wars, but we kind of have a neutral name so that if we want to do eventually, I think we'll do some Marvel stuff and just any nerd
Maybe some
stuff.
others.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start talking Christopher Nolan, call me.
Like Batman guy.
I will do that entire episode by myself. I could talk for days on Christopher Nolan movies. I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
I know.
Will keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So our next topic is Galaxy's Edge.
Oh,
hang on. Before we move on, I do have something to say.
Okay.
About we were talking about like how we haven't like really seen much of anything until recently.
Yeah.
With like trailers and stuff, and like for like up until like right before Kenobi, like I was getting trailer after trailer on my YouTube feed, and just all of a sudden out of nowhere, it was just like nothing. Like I didn't hear anything.
Did She-Hulk
I didn't
even
get
have a
Star-
trailer, by the way?
Yes, it did.
Yes,
Because it had
it did.
Daredevil at the end of it.
Yeah, see, I never saw
Which
it.
Like-
I wasn't going to watch it. And then I saw Daredevil. I was like, oh, never mind. I'm in.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm not in
see-
it for She-Hulk. I'm in it for Daredevil.
But I didn't see
I'm in
any
it for- no,
Marvel.
I am in
I
it
didn't
for
see any
Daredevil.
Star Wars trailers. It was ridiculous. Like our next episode, spoiler alert, we're gonna be talking a bit about Andor. I had to look up the trailers to watch
Yeah.
so we can record.
Mhm.
It was kind of sad, really.
Yeah, I don't think
Like Star Wars posted them, and then they never like promoted it. And I'm like, why are you not promoting it? This series looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Why are they not promoting it?
I still got
Because it's not a character that's beloved by everyone. Like
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, everyone knows who Kenobi is.
Yeah.
Like you look at a picture of Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, or Obi-Wan Kenobi. Those are like your powerhouse, like key characters that anyone who's anyone knows.
Oh yeah.
No one
Yeah.
knows who Andor.
well,
No one knows
Still.
this guy.
yeah,
is.
a lot of people like him though. Don't
As far as, like, the
underestimate
general
that fan
public.
base.
No. I'm talking about as far as the general public. Like
Yeah.
the general public, you can say the name Obi-Wan Kenobi, and people will go like, "I've never seen Star Wars, but I feel like I know that name. Like I think that's from Star Wars." You look at this
Cassian
fellow.
Andor, they'll be like, who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is that? What?
They
Is
don't
that-
know. They don't know.
Is that
Because
Star
Rogue
Trek?
One, despite being
that
the best
Star Trek?
Star Wars movie in the Disney era, has been largely forgotten,
Yeah.
and it makes me so sad because it's a great Star Wars
Mhm.
movie, and it's just a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah. I like it.
it's probably the only one of the newer movies that I have rewatched more than 2 or 3 times. I've probably watched it 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
That's a big thing. The more this is a quick Star Wars tip if you don't like Star Wars, which that'd be kind of odd. But if you don't like Star Wars, you're welcome to listen to the podcast. It's a great movie. You should watch it. All of them. All 11
It's a lot
of
of
them. But that's
11.
another thing. If you ask someone how many times they've watched a movie, that's how you know whether they like that Star Wars movie or don't watch it. Like you asked me how many times have I watched Revenge of the Sith? Yes. How many times have I watched
Yes.
The Last Jedi?
Just yes.
Like 2 or 3.
Not a number, just yes.
Yes.
Just yes.
So that's the thing. Like rewatchability it goes big into whether a movie is good or not. Because normally when we come out of the theater, most Star Wars fans are like, "That movie was great," and then
Oh yeah, and then you watch it again, and you're like, "Wait, no, it wasn't."
Like, why did I like this?
yeah,
Why
And
did
it's
I
funny.
like
So
this?
Solo is one that I went and saw in theaters. I was like, that was cool, but not great. But the more times I watch it, the more times I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. Like it
'Cause you
has
have to get
grown on me
used to-
exponentially.
yeah.
You have to get used
And
to
Ron Howard-
not Harrison
Because
Ford.
Ron Howard is a fantastic director. I
Oh
love
yeah,
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard's amazing. But you have to get used to not seeing Harrison Ford as hot.
Yeah,
like you have,
that's
like
the
my
hardest
brain
thing.
cannot grasp that concept. Like I can't.
it's funny.
I can't.
I can't. But the kid was fantastic as a young Han
Oh yeah,
Solo.
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
He was
Oh,
good,
yeah, he
but
was
It
there's-
was great.
And Donald Glover as Lando.
That he was good.
They
He was-
could not
Oh,
have
he
cast a
pulled that
better
off.
Lando.
I did
He
not
really
know
was
he
an
could like
excellent cast.
act that well, but
Because at
that's
first I was like, really, Donald Glover? And then I was like,
he's
yes,
pretty
Donald
good.
Glover.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see it, yeah.
Donald Glover.
I really wish they were able to get Billy D. Williams, but like
He's just so old. Like he actually like, has
I mean,
to
you
walk
could do-
around with a cane, and like he's getting to the end of.
face stuff. You can
But
do
yeah,
face.
I need them
Anti-aging
to do
technology.
another series
Yeah.
that connects to Solo or a second Solo movie because like it was good, but it did kind of end on a hey, I want to see the rest of his story. Like I'm interested
Yeah.
now.
I
wanna
think
see
Where you
it.
been, y'all?
I mean,
Mate?
it does kind of say like where he was going because he took Lando's job with Jabba, and that was the last we heard until episode 4.
Yeah. I think another thing with Solo is like for replacing his character with someone younger, they did that really well, but that dude will never be Han Solo. He'll just be Han Solo's younger replacement. It's like Johnny Depp and Captain Jack Sparrow. You're not going to find another Captain Jack Sparrow, period. That is Johnny Depp. You won't find another Han Solo. He is Harrison Ford. Like, you can try your best to replace him, but you'll never get spot on. Like, I think, actually, I tell you that Solo is not one of the best replacements. I think one of the best castings for a character that's already been played is Leia. That little Leia in Kenobi killed it. Oh my gosh.
She was absolutely fantastic. From the moment I saw her, I was like, yep, that's Leia.
That is Leia.
Yeah.
Carrie, someone posted this and I saw it and I was like, oh good, I'm going to start crying. Carrie Fisher would have loved her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Carrie
definitely.
Fisher would have.
Oh, she would have loved her.
Adored her. And I'm like, I saw that. I was like, good. I'm going to go cry now. But she is a fantastic Leia. Like, without a doubt, she better be in more. I want to see her again.
Yes.
She will be one of those characters that if she just pops up as a random cameo in a show, I will be freaking out because, oh my gosh, little Leia is back.
She's in Bird Box, too.
Yeah.
She won like a ton of
Is she
awards.
really?
Wait, what?
Yeah, she's the little child in Bird Box.
I never watched that. I never
I didn't
watched
either.
I've been meaning
Hold
to
on,
watch it. Like, there's so many movies that I've been meaning to watch.
We'll put
Oh
a
my
side
gosh.
by side somewhere in here. Probably next to me
Somewhere.
because there's a lot of room.
Yeah.
We'll put a side by
Somewhere
side.
there.
She was a little bit younger, but yeah, she won a lot of awards for that.
She actually
That's
just did her
crazy.
first comic expo. She
Yes.
did C2E2.
Oh,
I follow her
Yes, as a
Instagram.
guest, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it would have been so cool to go and see her."
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's actually let me show you. I'll go ahead and show all y'all so y'all can see it. She's that one.
Oh my gosh,
That's her. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it looks kind of like her.
I think
There's
her
no
name's
way.
what, Vivian Lear Blair or something.
Yeah,
Because I followed her on Instagram.
yeah, that's her.
Because she has an Instagram page. Parents run, but it's an Instagram page. I was like, I'm going to follow her because she's so cute. Maybe I'll get to work with
she
her
has
at
an
some
Instagram
point. That would make
page?
me so happy.
And a bunch of people like sent her fan mail, and it's so great because everyone. I was afraid she was going to get hated on. That was one of the things that
I
feared me
know.
the most. I was like, "Do not hate on this child. She was perfect."
She was one of the best parts about the Kenobi show.
I mean,
What's
hold
her
on.
What's her name? What's her last name? How do you spell her last
Vivian
name?
Lyra Blair, I think. I could be wrong. I can't exactly remember.
Lyra.
I'll
I
put
think
it.
it's Vivian with an E. I don't know.
I'll put this side by side. I'll put it right here because I have the image, or I'll send it to Holden because I think he's editing this episode. But I just attached this in Discord. If y'all can go look at it. I don't know who can and who can't. I can show it if I need to. But I just attached the side by side, and the
Oh, yeah.
resemblance there
Oh yeah.
is
Is
perfect.
good. She's good.
It's
Mhm.
like
And I loved
so
how we
close.
saw her relationship with Obi-Wan and how it made all
Mhm.
these like little random moments in A New Hope even sweeter. Like just
Yeah.
how excited the fact that she goes to Obi-Wan for help and that she's so excited when Luke tells her that Obi-Wan sent them. Like she's unwilling
Yeah.
to go until he mentions Obi-Wan and she's like, "Oh, that's an old friend of
Oh,
mine."
yeah.
This is
Like I'm
okay.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But
Because
that's
they had that history.
that's the only semi bad part about it is the more she, which they resolved it really well, but like the more she talked with him and then and they had that little chat like, you can't say we ever worked together, but the more they did together, the tighter that string pulled between years ago you fought with my father in the Clone Wars. So it's like, is she just saying that because he said that, or were they not planning on this? Or I think they did a pretty good job, and they didn't quite break the timeline there, but they definitely did what they could within the realm of what they had very well. So,
I think
And it's-
she.
It's
I think
just
she
another
said that-
instance of them polishing up plot holes
yeah,
and filling in those little plot holes. And it's like, how would they have known?
because we were watching this watch party, and it's the last episode, and they're talking, and Obi-Wan's like, Obi-Wan's telling her about this and how she can't say anything, and the guy watching the watch party and me simultaneously just go, years ago you fought with my father in the Clone Wars, and we're thinking about it like, okay, how are they going to fit this back in, and how are they going to keep it? And me and the Dano channel, which is who we were watching, we're on the same process there of how are they going to tie this into the rest of the movie. And I think once it finished, they did it very well. And then we got Liam Neeson. That was the best part.
Oh, no, that made me so happy.
And then we got
I was
Liam
like,
Neeson,
yes!
And
Dude,
one of the
love
best
that.
parts though, Liam Neeson was good, but one of the best parts was we're sitting there, we're watching the episode, and then it opens on Anakin with his hands behind his back, looking over Coruscant. When they had their battle scene, I'm like, yes,
Oh.
yes. And then Hayden turns
Dude.
around, and I'm like, that's Hayden.
I remember watching that. Me
Oh,
and Garrett were sitting there
oh.
watching it together, and we went nuts.
I was
And
like,
when
yes,
he opens,
Hayden.
when he knocks Vader's mask open, and you hear both Hayden's voice
Oh, that was amazing.
and
And
James Earl
James-
Jones. I was sitting there, I was like,
That was so good.
It was
And
kind of
even-
like that moment in
I-
Rebels when Ahsoka did it.
Yeah.
I thought I was hearing things at first.
Yeah.
I thought I was like, no, it's just James Earl Jones. And then someone started talking about it. I was like, oh, it was both.
Yeah,
Which
because
I
Yeah, no,
didn't
you
realize.
can.
I
Because when Vader
really,
first started talking, I was like, is that Hayden's voice that they've meshed? And I was like, no, that's
Mhm.
James Earl Jones. They brought James Earl
Yeah.
Jones back.
and here's two points that I've seen. One, I really appreciate them not de-aging Hayden Christensen, or if they did, they didn't do it much. Hayden was good enough to play that part without needing to be de-aged. I would have not maybe liked it if they de-aged him. I liked him as he was. I don't care, if he looks old. That was Hayden. That was Anakin. Still that same character even today. And two, one parallel I've seen been brought up a lot is like Anakin or Ahsoka cut off the left side of Vader's mask.
Mhm, that's what
Obi-Wan
I
cut
just
off
said
the
just a
right,
minute ago.
and then
And
Vader
then
and
Luke
then
was the
Luke
only
took
one.
off the mask. So that's
Luke
Dave
was the one that
Filoni's
could take it off.
understanding, and that's why I like Dave Filoni being in charge of the whole thing in the first place, because he just
Yeah.
gets it.
I'm so ready for the Ahsoka show.
Oh, that was
Mhm.
gonna
If
be good
there's
too.
one
Oh.
show that I'm anticipating more than Andor, it's Ahsoka, because Ahsoka, Sabine, Hera, and Thrawn.
All of those.
We get to
Oh.
see Thrawn in live action. I'm so excited to see who they cast.
They
for
better
him,
nail
'cause
his
honestly,
actor,
Anybody
though.
they
Oh.
cast is going to be perfect.
They gotta nail it.
No,
they gotta nail it. They gotta nail it. They gotta have
they
something.
have got to nail it.
Listen. They cannot do Thrawn like they did the Grand Inquisitor. Enough said.
Oh, if they do, I will be so mad. But the thing is, okay, so here's
Egghead.
my theory, right? Grand Inquisitor in Rebels was voiced by Jason Isaacs. Jason Isaacs did not play him in live action. And I'm like, they're saving Jason Isaacs for Thrawn, which he will be a spectacular Thrawn because he plays a spectacular villain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
but
I also
they
think
did. I mean,
One-
they did the same thing with Ashley Eckstein and Rosario Dawson. Like,
Yeah.
why?
that,
Why would you do
that's,
this? Why?
That's what I was about to
But
say.
it's funny, it makes me mad because Ashley, like, I'm mad that Ashley's not Ahsoka, but I also think that Rosario did a great job. I'm like, why do they make
Yeah.
it this difficult?
They-
Why do they
one-
make it, I can't pick sides.
One thing I'll be mad about is if I understand them recasting for looks or whatever, and the voice is just okay. I would have liked Ashley Eckstein, but I understand why they couldn't do that. But if they don't put Ashley Eckstein into the show at any point, like they have to give her at least like a cameo as somebody,
I'm sure they
because
will.
she made that character. You
Yeah.
can't.
she
She's
did.
so sweet. She's so sweet. I
Yeah.
got to meet her at the January meetup.
Oh,
Oh my
You got
gosh,
to,
one of
like,
the best
actually,
people I've
like,
ever met in
meet
my
her?
life. Yes, she
Mm.
was there, and it was so funny because we all got in a line, and the people that were with her were like, "Hey, so she's going to stay for about 10 minutes, and that's it." So just like at first she was hiding stuff, and then they were like, "All right, just keep it to pictures and like just say hey." I am pretty sure I was near the back of the line. I'm pretty sure she stayed for like 20 minutes to make sure that she got through the entire line and said hello to everybody. So yeah, I got up. I got to
we
go
were
say,
we
I
were
was like,
this
"Hi,
close.
this is so awesome. It's so nice to meet you." She was like, "It's so good to meet you." She's like this tall. She's tiny. She's tiny. And her regular speaking voice is the exact same as Ahsoka's. So you're literally
Ooh.
talking to Ahsoka.
Dude, that would
Yes.
Awesome.
we were
And
okay.
I got a hug. I got a hug from Ahsoka. I got to get a picture with her. There's a picture that they took of me taking a picture with her. And she lives in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
So you see her in the parks. Like 2 or 3 months later, I was with my parents standing in line at Slinky Dog, and we were in the loading area about to get on, and the train in front of us had just loaded. And I looked down, and I saw kind of the back of the head and this bright blonde hair. I was like, that looks like Ashley. And then I looked a row back, and I saw her husband. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Ashley. It's Ashley. And so we get off. They take off. We get on the ride. We're getting off. And I'm like, she's probably already left. She was right in front of us. And I wanted to say something, but I was like, she's with her family. I'm not going to bother her. But she's in the parks all the time. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping she'll be at this one next week because it's like their anniversary of doing the lightsaber meetup. So I'm really kind of hoping she'll be there next week so I can go say hey again, because she is genuinely one of the sweetest people you will ever meet in your life.
Yeah.
We love her.
We have a story too, because when we went a few years back, she was in the parks, and we go and we had this cast member. I think her name was Mary. I think she got laid off because of COVID, but she recognized us, and we recognized her. We had seen her like many, many, many times, and we'd actually like taken pictures. We have pictures, and we're just walking around Launch Bay, and I'm just kind of walking around, and I look up, and then there's Ashley Eckstein signing stuff. And then I look up, and I was like, I noticed the cast member. I was like, can we just walk in the line? And she's like, no, you have to have a wristband. And I look, and that's our cast member. And we're like, oh my gosh, hey. And I was like, I need to think of a plan now. How do I convince her to let us into this line? And she's like, I would let you in, but you have to have a wristband, and I have no wristbands left. And so, we didn't get to go see her, but we did. There was this one girl that had like a full Jabba thing. She was really good at acting out as Jabba, and she was like, oh, Utini, saying like, can I get a signature? And they wouldn't even let her go in. So we did see her though.
I can give you guys, if you want to put the pictures in, let me know, because I still have them. I can send them to you of her hanging out. The coolest part was, so she gets there, she's talking to all the little kids, because there were a bunch of little kids, and she's like, all right, I need all the Padawans to come and like hang out around me. So they do, and she's got this big Disney bag with her. She starts handing out, the Ahsoka dolls that you can buy up in the marketplace. She starts handing them all Ahsoka dolls that she has signed, that she's taken her time to sign all of them.
Wow.
Just starts handing them out to the kids. I was like, because I had always heard people say she was sweet, but I was sitting there, I was like, oh wow, yeah, she is genuinely just fantastic.
I wonder if she gets those for free. Like, hey, I need 15 Ahsoka dolls, and if you don't give them to me, then I'm going to sue you, because technically those are me.
That's my image that you're using. Technically, yeah. No, she's fantastic. So I do hope she does get a cameo in Ahsoka, because that would make me very, very happy, and she would be so happy about it too. And you know it,
because it's her character.
It's really funny because we were at Disney a while ago, and we kind of got that same treatment for some reason, because I was dressed up, right? I had like the whole cosplay.
I remember that.
And I had just like, I think, what was it, that day or the day before, because we were at Disney Springs the day before, and I bought them at Disney Springs. I bought Maul's like saber.
Yes, I remember you telling me about this. Yeah.
And so we go, and so we're just like, just wait for a fast pass or something. And I have Vans on. Like, I don't even have my boots yet at this point. And I just got some like Obi-Wan Kenobi like style boots for better cosplaying. And so at this point I was like there's no way he's the actual character, right? But people come up to me and they don't notice that. They just see like the tunic and the robe and the belt and the sabers, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. We had a line for like an hour going through the launch bay, because this is kind of like the like fake cantina area that they have kind of going on. And so people were lined up for like an hour trying to get pictures, and like, I mean, they were like sitting there and they were like, hey, can we get a picture? 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 And we all were like, sure. And so we just sat there and took pictures with people and talked and met and
they got to hold our lightsabers, which is like the coolest thing, because for us it's like one's lying here. If I walk 2 feet, there's another one. Like we have stuff we're kind of
it's
used
not a
to,
big
but
They
they're
had
like,
like 5 sabers
like,
on us,
oh
and
my
all
these aren't
orange.
even, and these aren't even the cool ones. Like NeoPixel ones are like
The cool
infinitely
ones.
cooler.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And
Yeah, no, I haven't
Garrett
been
and I were
stopped
just
for pictures
sitting over
at
there.
all. But I do have people that are like, oh my gosh, where'd you get your stuff? Like a lot of times I've actually started carrying, so Cora got me a loft cat for Christmas, one of the ones that you can get from the creature stall. And his name is Matt Purdock. And I carry him around in my backpack a lot. And people will always stop me. They're like, oh my gosh, I love your cat. I'm like, thank you. He's my little friend. He fits good in one of my backpacks. He fits good in my camera bag. But I do have people that are always like, oh my gosh, love your outfit. And cast members are really fun. Because I was walking by one time and there were 2 guys leaning on a trash can, cast members. And I had my hair down and that was back when it was still really blue. It's lost its color now. But they looked at me and they went, First Order's out looking for a Jedi with blue hair. I was like, yeah, that's why I have a hood. Because the jacket that I wear has a hood on it. And they got a kick out of that. I was like, just flip the hood up and boom, hair's gone.
Hair's gone.
It just
And then
disappears.
when I go and see Vi Marati, there was one time where I was walking off Rise of the Resistance. I wasn't even dressed up. I was just wearing like regular clothes. And Vi and Rey were out by the X-Wing. And I was kind of close. I was maybe 20 feet away from them. And I waved at Vi because she's probably my favorite character that hangs out in Galaxy's Edge. And she goes, I love your hair. I was like, thank you. I was like, I got it. I got the idea from you because I had it down that day so you could see the blue. I was like, it just made my day. Like that was the coolest character interaction ever. Like Galaxy's Edge didn't live up to the character interactions we expected.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But the ones that I do get are fantastic. Like I had my camera one time and one of the stormtroopers was standing up. You know where the speeders are? And there's that big like rock formation that has a platform by it. So I was walking from Droid Depot back towards like Rise of the Resistance where the rock face is kind of in front of the platform. And I saw the stormtrooper up there and the lighting was just gorgeous. I was like, oh, I got to get a picture of this. And a family was standing there with their phones taking a picture of them. So I pull my camera out of my bag. I get stuff snapped together and I pull it up. And as soon as I pull it up and get focus, he scoots behind the rock.
Oh.
I pull my camera down. He
I've
sticks his
heard this.
head back out. Slowly bring the camera up. He disappears behind the rock again. I'm like, okay. Game
So this
on.
is how it's going to
And
be.
the family in front of me is laughing because he and I, it's just back and forth. I have one picture in focus of him sticking his head out from behind the rock. And I mean, he was like, we're watching you. I was like, yes, I'm just trying to take your picture. Please calm down. Like the sunlight's just hitting the armor just right. But it was so funny. Because like other people with their phones are snapping pictures like crazy. I bring out the Canon and he's like,
beautiful.
No,
You look beautiful.
you look gorgeous.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
You look beautiful.
that's
That's
another
the same
thing
thing.
about it.
That's the same thing with the March of the March of the First Order. So me and Garrett
It's
were at
been
the last
discontinued,
one that
though.
they ever did.
But-
Yeah, we were
if you
the
look
last
in
one.
if you look in videos of the last one, you will see me and probably Holden.
You'll see us running down the street like following them, and so it was raining, right? It was raining that day,
Mm-hmm.
but
I do remember seeing the
they
video.
obviously they still did it. So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
coming
It's
down
the
the
last one.
street, and as much as Phasma is like not
Cool.
a cool like
They trashed her character,
Not
and I am
really.
still mad about it. She had so much. She was the Boba Fett of the sequels.
Yeah.
Really cool
Mhm.
character, had a ton of
But-
potential, and they just killed her off. I was like, I feel betrayed.
Yeah.
yeah, but like as much as she wasn't like the most imposing or like whatever character, the rain coming down on that shiny metallic armor and then like all this and it's just like pouring down rain, but people are standing in this like standing on the sidewalk anyways out of any cover just so they can get a view of this because they're like, this is the last one. Like people knew like this is the last one, and so everybody in the park rushed to the route. And so like it was just extra cool. And it's the last like the last one they'll do of something that you usually just walk by.
Yeah.
It's not a huge deal.
But we'd
But,
see
like-
it. We'd always stop and watch it because it was just awesome.
People had
Oh.
signs too. They were like, "Yeah, Phasma."
Oh yeah. People had signs, and so like we were sitting there. It was just the coolest moment because like I mean, just the rain was hitting the armor, and it was like in this like storm, but they kept marching anyways. And then there's like the street had this like layer of rain of like rainwater, and they
Hollywood
were like
Studios in the
stepping
rain
in
is
it.
the best.
Yeah.
And they were stepping on it. It was just making these like splat. It was just such a like cinematic moment. Like you could have made a movie out of this whole experience. It like is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
guys,
never got to see that,
You need
so
to
I
come
missed
to a
out.
lightsaber meetup.
I want to
You
so
think-
bad.
Do you think March of the Resistance was amazing?
I also like
Lightsaber
droid.
meetups. The-
Droid meetups are pretty cool too. I like
So
droids.
the one for May the 4th, right? I went to the one for May the 4th. There were people from the X-Wing outside of Rise of the Resistance packed into the things, like into the walkways, about halfway through the walkways, so like 5 deep on the walkways, from the X-Wing at Rise of the Resistance to the end of the marketplace.
Mhm.
Wow,
And I was in the middle of it.
that's
I saw
incredible.
like 3 different Disney TikTok influencers that I followed. So many people, a few people that I had seen before from other meetups. I mean, it was absolutely insane the amount of people
Yeah.
that were there. But it's just, it wasn't very cool because there were so many people. But the one that I went to in January where I nearly froze to death was like I couldn't feel my feet by the end of the night, but I just met Ashley Eckstein and I was squealing like a little girl leaving the park because
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my gosh. But it was just something else. Just seeing all the people there with all the different lightsabers, talking to people about their lightsabers. When we started walking as a group back towards the Falcon, I was like, this is the coolest moment of my life. I can't get any cooler than this.
I think out of all of Star Wars, I think there would be probably only 2 people. I mean, actors are fantastic. There's only 2 people that I would like sell my soul to be able to meet in person. That is John Williams and Ewan McGregor. I would sell my soul to be able to meet those 2 people. Like John Williams is just a beautiful composer. His style is fantastic, and Ewan McGregor is
It's iconic.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's iconic. It's the 70s and 80s. Like the 70s and 80s were John Williams. And
Yeah,
everybody tried to be John Williams in the 70s and 80s. Like you watch anything, you
You
can hear
can.
the score and it's like everybody's trying to capture that sound and
yeah.
nobody can. And that's my other problem with the sequels. Like one of the only problems I have, and it's such a weird little problem to have, John Williams doesn't sound like John Williams. Except in Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker.
I think it's because they may have done like, so basically one of the band directors at my old school said that she had a friend that Ghost wrote for John Williams, which is like when they write music and then put his name on it. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe for the non like important scores, but like when you go and actually listen to the scores, like he wrote the Obi-Wan Kenobi theme. He didn't write the rest of the
Mhm.
music, which is okay because he's like 90 years old. I totally understand if he didn't.
Yeah.
I totally understand if he didn't write any of the sequels at all because he's 90 at that point, probably like 85 something years old. I mean,
he had
that's
to have
old.
written Rise of Skywalker.
But
Because there is
yeah,
one score, and it is called The Rise of Skywalker from Rise of Skywalker, which baffles everybody when I tell them. But I heard it randomly one day, and it made me tear up. It made me start crying because it sounded like the most original John Williams out of anything from the
Mhm.
sequels.
yeah.
And I hadn't realized how much it didn't sound like him until I heard that score, and I was like, I
That was
haven't heard
beautiful.
this since the 80s John Williams stuff that I've
Oh,
heard.
yeah.
And it's the only,
Yeah.
because I would love to have all the Star Wars movies on vinyl. It's the only vinyl that I have is The Rise of Skywalker.
So I can tell he did March of Resistance. That's uniquely John Williams. Ray's theme, that's John Williams. Of course, all the original music. The Battle of Crate, to me, sounds John Williams.
I think I've
And if it's
listened
on
to
my
that.
playlist, then more than likely it is
the finale
Done.
from Last Jedi is John Williams because it ends with Leia's theme.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you look like, which we're going to
And
do
the
this.
finale. Oh,
We're
the
going to do
finale
this.
from Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
That one's amazing.
That fella cannot write a bad song.
Yeah, I
it
know.
just
No, he hasn't written
objectively
a bad score.
cannot write a bad piece of music.
Like, he has written some of the stuff
Unable.
that you don't, like, of course, Indiana Jones,
Harry
Just
Potter.
Close Encounters
Harry
of the
Potter.
Third Kind.
Jaws,
Everything.
Close Encounters,
He wrote-
Schindler's List,
he wrote,
E.T.
he actually
Oh,
wrote,
Schindler's
Jurassic
List, I still
Park.
watch it.
he performed, I know he didn't write it, but he did the variation of 2001 from Space
Oh
Odyssey,
yeah,
which to any
Mhm.
Carolina fan is like
Mm-hmm.
such a great
It
song.
is
Oh,
Close.
yes,
Yeah.
that one. I know what you're talking about. That
He
movie's
did the,
weird. That movie's really weird.
he also wrote
I've
the
actually never
Olympic
seen it.
the like Olympic song.
the Olympic song.
The Olympic
No, he did not write that one. He performed that one. A dude from North Carolina wrote it.
He did it better. I say he wrote it.
Yeah, well,
He
He
did
wrote
it
it,
better.
but same thing with like 2001. He didn't write it, but he performed it. He also,
so speaking of 2001, it's not a great movie. It's very weird. Visuals
Yeah,
are gorgeous,
I've
and
never
you can
watched
definitely
it.
see how much it inspired Star Wars.
yeah, I
Mhm.
never watched it, but I like I literally the second I was born, I heard 2001 and 80,000 fans screaming to death. It was
Yeah.
great. I love it. But
I heard
he also,
Sandstorm somewhere the other day, and I was like, oh no. Oh no, I can hear them coming. I can hear the stampede.
So
Oh
Texas and
No.
Sandstorm.
no, hold
They
on,
have
hold
a-
on,
they-
hold on. Before
they
you
have a
before you go on
different-
before you go on this whole rant, I was gonna say John Williams also wrote, which I know Alyssa probably won't get this, or Holden, but NBC football Sunday night. He wrote the
Yeah.
dun 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 dun.
That's why it's so epic.
Yeah, he wrote
Yeah,
that.
That makes
he did.
sense.
I knew that. You told me that before, Garrett. I
That
knew
is so
I didn't know that till
cool.
recently, but I was like, you could play that, and I would go marching into war voluntarily. Like,
Thank you for giving me a brand new tidbit to absolutely annoy the crap out of people with.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That one, and the fact that John Williams' son is the lead singer of Toto and the singing voice of Simba in The Lion King. I'm not even
Oh,
kidding.
What?
So
I've heard
Yep.
that about Toto.
Yep.
but-
You can
So,
do,
you know,
yeah, no, I heard the one about Toto, so I went and looked it up to make sure. And on Wikipedia, it was talking about the lead singer, and he was like, "Yeah, such and such, son of John Williams." I was like which
What?
John Williams?
You mean like the
Like,
one that sang
John
"Gonna
Williams,
Be a
John
Mighty"?
Williams. Clicked on it, and
John
yeah,
Williams.
it's John Williams. John Williams. I was like, lovely.
So
Solid.
like the
You know
one
what's-
that sang
you know what's
"Just
really
Can't Wait
funny?
to Be King."
Mhm.
No, the older one, older Simba.
Oh.
Older one. So what?
Ooh.
So like
He
the
sings
second half of Hakuna Matata, Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, Joseph
That's John
Williams.
Williams' son.
Joseph Williams. That's
Okay.
crazy.
So funny story. So at camp this summer, we had what's called the name game, and where we would like make up a funny camp name for everybody. Well, the crowd would ask questions. The person on stage who's being named would answer. One of our common questions was, what if you were riding into battle? If you could choose one animal to ride into battle on, what would it be? And what song would play
Like a panther.
in the like a
That
bantha.
was so funny.
But
He
yeah.
improv that. That was improv.
Oh, but it was hilarious.
Yes,
But
I could
That
tell.
was
So the
Tamara
question-
just being Tamara.
Question is, what animal would you ride in battle on, and what would be the song? And people would be like, "Oh, Firework by Katy Perry and an eagle," and I'm like, "Oh, cool." So you think that that's a fun battle song? And so when I got up on stage, my turn, they were like, "Okay, well, obviously, what animal, what song?" And I go, "Battle of Heroes," and they're like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "Wait, what? No one knows what
That
Battle
wouldn't
of
be mine.
Heroes is-
That would not be mine.
and they're like, "Yeah, no, I don't know what that is." Like, no one knew what it was, and I'm like, "So no one knows what I don't know what animal would I ride on?" And I kind of look around and I'm like, "Tauntaun,
Like a panther.
bantha." Any
Do
of that
back.
click for anybody? The entire crowd of like 75 people had no clue what that was. And I'm like, bro, Texas tripping.
Yeah.
So sad. Yeah, no, mine would probably be Derez from Tron Legacy. If it ain't pop punk, or not pop punk, if it ain't techno, I don't want it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's a great song.
Here's
It
here's
played one day when I was driving because I had my liked songs on shuffle. I was like, usually I don't listen to scores when I'm driving,
Okay.
but we're listening to
I'll
this
allow
one.
Bro, if you listen
I have
to
a-
John
I have a
Williams, you're
different
gonna be
answer.
driving down the left side of the road in America. Like,
No, so I changed my answer after that. It is a very, very niche like indie video game that has a fantastic soundtrack, and it's called An Artful Escape, but the song is The City of Glimmer, and it's on Spotify. That is the battle song. That is it, just straight up. That is my battle song. It is just this epic, like, just guitar, just epic moment. That or Master of Puppets by Metallica
no,
because of
Yes.
freaking Eddie Munson.
no.
So if I had to
saw-
go with the song without
I saw
words,
at a burger shop in Austin, I think. There was these people who walked into the burger shop there's no Comic-Con, there's no Stranger Things, that cosplaying as Stranger Things just in the burger shop.
Okay, so let me guess.
I've
There's
got
5 of
11s.
them. Let me guess. There's 5 of them in the shop. 4 of them are Eddie Munson.
No, there was actually Eddie Munson. There was
Of course.
a
Eddie Munson
the
stands.
cheerleader. There's no cheerleader.
Chrissy?
Chrissy, yeah. There was Eddie Munson, Chrissy. There was Nancy. There was Steve, I think, and there was
I like Steve.
I think Will. I think one of them was like trying to be cool. But these are like
I mean, I have
35-year-old people.
I have 11's shirt in my closet, the black and yellow one from season 3. I wear it over
Oh, really?
regular shirts. And it's funny
Yeah.
because I wear it out, and every time I wear it out, I'm like, who is going to be the first person to be like, I know that shirt from somewhere. Where do I know it from? And I'm going to be like, oh boy, do you know that shirt.
Oh boy. No.
Like, I actually wore it to MegaCon when I went, because I was going to go like full Taji, and then I was like, I kind of want to wear a recognizable character, so I ended up going as 11, and I wore it.
no one recognized it, did they?
No, they did, and I actually had a younger girl come up to me, like one of the first people that I saw. I didn't see a lot of people. I mean, people recognize it, but I didn't have a lot of people talk to me. But she came up to me, and she was dressed the exact same way, the exact same shirt, pants, everything.
What?
I took a picture with her because she came up to me, and she had a jacket on. And the parents were like, "Oh, we love your outfit," and she unzips the jacket, and I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Same
you have on the
shirt.
same outfit." And she just
That is
nodded. I was like,
incredible.
"Oh, this is so cool." And I was like, "Can we take a picture together?" And their parents were like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." I was like, "Yay." Because I found a little
Yeah.
11.
I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
wait to go to a Comic-Con in my whole stuff.
See, I just realized
I cannot
I
wait.
will probably be in Atlanta next year. Dragon Con.
Ooh.
I was going to go this year, but it's on Labor Day weekend, and I only get Labor Day off from school. So I'm like, I don't think I can make it down in time. But from next year on, I'll be going to Dragon Con. I will be at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing D&D last night, and I ran upstairs and grabbed my robe. I have the robe just sitting right here because I was like,
Ready
random
to go.
sorcerer moment. Yeah, sure. Put the Kenobi robe on.
yeah.
Okay, we
Yeah.
have gotten
Welcome,
off track. Where are
adventurers.
we?
Yeah.
We
I
just-
was- I was gonna say-
So we were
Wait, hold on.
supposed to be at Galaxy's Edge.
yeah, and we just went.
But I also have some scores though. So my battle score, which we might do music another day, but we're still figuring out how to handle it because we can't put the songs in there. And for anyone who doesn't
Okay.
avidly listen to it,
for copyright.
yeah, I mean, we could just tank it and not make money, but like, I don't want to get it taken down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
think you have 10 seconds. We can play 10 seconds.
so here's I'll just list them off, and if you're listening and you're not a Star Wars fan, go look them up on Spotify. It's really good music. My number one is kind of a tie. because they sound similar. My number one for me is the droid invasion and the appearance of Darth Maul. If you don't know what the droid invasion is, it's episode 1. Gungans are fighting the droids, and it's like dun. See, they're so they're so similar to my other number one, which is the second half of, because I don't think they have it in one song. The second half of Love, Pledge, and the Arena, which is the clone song. And what I think about is Anakin marching on the Jedi Temple. Dun, 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 dun. That's what that is. That would probably be my war theme. But yeah, back to whatever we were talking about. I just had that one saved up.
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge, yeah, that thing.
Galaxy's Edge is cool. It wasn't quite what we expected, but the food is fantastic. Holy cow.
I love
the Ronto wrap with every fiber of my being. I would eat those every day if I could. They're so good.
So good for any time of the day.
Any time of the day.
Actually, no, we were on expectation versus reality. We can move on to Galaxy's Edge now. I will say about Galaxy's Edge, Garrett, when we first went, Garrett looked at everything there was.
Yeah, I knew everything.
He knew everything. I saw one picture. I stayed off of the internet entirely.
That's right. I forgot that.
Just to keep every possibility of anything Galaxy's Edge related just out of the loop, because I was like, okay, I'm going with Garrett, so if I need to know anything specific,
you
have the walking encyclopedia with you.
You have to have someone. Which is the same thing for which I know we'll get into in a second after this, but Star Cruiser. One of us has me and Holden have both already spoiled it, because if we don't spoil it, then we're gonna lose out on $6,000. So yeah, I'm okay with taking that fall because I don't want to waste money. So at least one person has to know. So I went ahead and took that responsibility. So,
but yeah, I knew nothing, and so when I walked in and like saw the area, I cried. I was like, "This is like beautiful," because I hadn't seen any of the promos, right? I hadn't seen any of the promos, no pictures. I was like, this is just cool. So like in my mind, a lot of people were like, it's not as good as the promos. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is like, yeah, this is cool. Like this is what it should be. Like could the cast members be a little bit more lore learned? Sure.
Yeah.
Could
they
be a little bit
to say about
better interaction? Yeah. Could they stand to play a couple of D&D campaigns to learn how to role play? Yeah. But like, is it that bad? No. Is it something I would never go back to ever again? No. I mean, I love that place.
This is a big point. Talking about cast members, I like the immersion, but I think some of it needs to go. And this is something not just because it happened to us, but because I've seen it happen on several occasions, is on Rise of the Resistance. All over Galaxy's Edge, you have buttons. Buttons you can press, buttons you can hit. They don't do anything, right? But buttons are a common thing. You see a lot of buttons. On Rise of Resistance, the cast members and the First Order part of it are so stuck in their acting phase that the people who ride the ride never know if they're being serious. So something I see a lot, and that happened to us, is people will go and press the buttons beside the interrogation room. Those buttons actually do stuff, but they look the same as the other buttons that don't do anything. And there are even buttons on that same hall that don't do anything. So people are pressing it, and the cast members are like, don't press those buttons. And then people are like, oh, they're just being, First Order stuff. They're acting. And then they actually like screw up the ride and almost get kicked out. But then even when they're like, do you want to be removed? You don't know if they're just acting or not. So that's another thing that I think needs to be addressed. But other than that, like just walking around, the acting is tremendous. And they do really good at it. My only other pet peeve really about Galaxy's Edge would be character interaction is not very good. You can have, when Chewie comes through, Chewie's getting from point A to point B. It don't matter how many kids that are on a Make-A-Wish trip, moments away from death. They don't care, which is one thing. You might see them stop, but like for your average, like if you don't have something special, like the only time Chewie's ever stopped for me was because I had a white kyber crystal. Nobody around the park really has that. So he was like, that's cool. Never seen that before. Let me stop and talk to this guy. But for all the rest of the people that are just there that don't, buy the extra stuff, they should still get to talk to Chewbacca too. But it just seems like the cast members don't care and they just walk through from one end to the other and their job is done. Like,
I will say before COVID, it was much better because I went back in 2019. I didn't get to go in August when it first opened, but I went in October of 2019 for the first time. And the cast members were great then. Like, they were really, really good. The characters, pretty much every single time we walked in there, the characters were out and about. We got to talk to them and hang out with them. Like, I mean, they would be moving from place to place, but they'd stop and talk and then they'd keep on moving. Lately, I haven't seen any of the characters. And like people keep posting videos that they're out walking about again. And maybe I'm just not hitting the times right, but I never see any of the characters anymore. And I'm kind of like, where'd they go?
Yeah, do keep in mind though that Boba and Fennec are only at Disneyland.
Yeah,
that made me so mad. They're supposed to get Mando and Grogu at Disneyland.
You know why though?
And Disney World's getting nothing.
Star Cruiser. They can't break the timeline. They're anchored by Star
Disney
Cruiser.
World has, they won't be able to carry a best timeline.
We'll never get that
relationship with a set timeline. Like, it's cool. I'm glad that we're doing it, and I'm glad that we're filling in the gaps. But at the same time, now there's stuff that they just can't do, and it's like,
broken timeline.
I didn't think about that.
It's first order on the Star Cruiser and the Halcyon, so you got to keep it that way. Even though 99% of the people that walk into the park that day are not on Star Cruiser because it's $6,000.
And Star Cruiser only lands like every 4 days.
Also, 99% of the people that are paying for the Star Cruiser are old enough to not be sequel fans.
Exactly.
Over the original trilogy or prequels. Like, the people able to afford
no
the
8-year-old
price
child
tag.
has $6,000.
Exactly. No,
and there was a
child has 6,000. Like,
I think where the place that Star Cruiser and Galaxy's Edge need to be set is where Mando is, between the end of the original trilogy and before the sequel trilogy, because we have barely touched that era. Everybody's like, oh, keep going back to the prequels, keep going back, which don't get me wrong, it's great. Like, Clone Wars was fantastic and all that, but everybody's like, keep going back to before the originals. I'm like, no, we need after the originals to the sequels. That's the area that we need to cover.
That's a strong
right now.
point.
Not before the prequels. Not before the prequels. Quit trying to touch before the prequels. Leave that alone. Focus on where Mando is right now, because it's such an interesting period to think about, because it's like, for these 40 years, the Empire is dead, but something is bubbling up.
Yeah.
What's bubbling up here? What's going on here?
Man,
and they don't focus on it.
Just to take a note, Mando is set between 3 and 4. No. He is. It is after.
Mando is set between 6 and 7.
I'm thinking Kenobi.
Kenobi's set between 3 and 4. Mando is set. I think it's 12 years after the fall of the Empire, if I'm not mistaken.
The Star Wars universe has 3 time slots to fill. In between episode 1 and 2, that's 10 years.
That's been filled.
That
one's
kind of.
No, that one hasn't been filled.
Because we need.
I was thinking Clone Wars.
No,
Clone Wars is 2 and 3.
Yeah, we need
2 and
Anakin
3.
in training. We need 1 to 2, and then we need 3 to 4. A little bit more fillage in of that.
More there, yeah.
3
and
to
then
4.
Mainly between 6 and 7, because we don't get the rise of the First Order. We don't get rise of Kylo Ren. I mean, kinda. We're just now
it in books, but it's so.
There's also a pretty big gap
between
8 and 9.
This whole thing came from nowhere.
Which the dynamic of Kylo Ren, I'm like, the story behind how he became Kylo Ren, I need to see it, because it would be amazing.
we see that
we only have like small glimpses.
Yeah.
We see
We
the
need like
temple
the
being
full
built.
thing.
Yeah, because we see the temple being built in Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, I was
Boba
freaking
Fett,
out.
yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, because I was expecting to see young Ben, and we didn't, and I was like,
Because Grogu
Probably
was
because the
Yeah.
temple
Yeah.
wasn't finished yet.
yeah.
Also, I think they really messed up with making Grogu
Go to Mando.
go to Mando instead of staying
Yeah.
for
I was kind of
both.
sad about that.
Luke would have never done that.
No.
He would have never done that. He
That's
would
the
have never
thing
said,
that,
"Oh,
like-
well, you have to choose between."
Like that would be
That's not Luke.
Bruh.
that would be the
That's
equivalent
not-
of me sitting down a 2-year-old child and going, "You have to choose. Do you want your family or do you want this fun shiny toy?"
Yeah.
But if you take the toy, then you're not going to be with your family. But if you take your family, you're not going to get this really good shiny toy. Now make this decision and it will affect the rest of your life. I hope you make the right decision at 2 years old.
And that's my other thing is like Last Jedi Luke, I kind of liked because I love a good jaded mentor. And Last Jedi Luke had a reason to be like angry and brooding and I don't want to talk to anybody because his entire Jedi Academy got wrecked by his nephew. Mando Luke does not have a reason to be like that.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know
He
why they're
just-
trying to
yeah.
make Mando Luke like Last Jedi Luke. Like maybe they're trying to patch the hole there, but you can't patch the hole there until you introduce Ben
Mm-hmm.
and show why Luke is the way
He-
he is in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Did kind of halfway almost try to kill him
Yeah.
Who?
to interject.
Ben?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Luke. Yeah, Luke kind of
Well-
could
Tried
be
to kill Ben.
seen.
I mean, if we
Could-
kill Ben, then we don't get a sequel trilogy. That sounds pretty nice to me.
That does seem pretty nice to me. Yeah, we kill Ben and we
Oh my gosh.
don't get the sequels. It's just, and we get better sequels. We get Luke with a team of younglings.
I
We
think
get Colin Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates.
Guys.
I'm still kind of salty about that one.
Imagine-
Rise of Skywalker was cool, but after seeing the concept art for Duel of the Fates, I was like, we were freaking robbed.
imagine
Yeah,
we
no,
get.
it's just
I would be more
no.
okay with the sequels being Luke going on adventures with a bunch of 7-year-olds. That would be nice. Well,
oh my
okay.
gosh, that would have been so much fun.
In all
That would've
honesty,
been-
here though, what I wanted the sequels to be, and I haven't even finished reading this trilogy, but I started it. The Legends Thrawn trilogy, the same one I've been
Yes,
talking about.
that's what everybody
That
thought
should
it
have
was
been the
going to be.
sequels. That should have been the sequels. Written by Timothy Zahn way back when, still holds up very solid today. Got written off into Legends because, again, topic of this episode, Disney bought Star Wars. A lot of bad
Yeah.
stuff happened then. But kicked it all to Legends. And those books are like, you ask a Star Wars fan, they have their good Star Wars books, but those books are like the number one books. Like you go to
I
any.
need to read those. That might be this fall's Thrawn obsession is the Legends books because I read the
Mhm.
canon ones last year and just absolutely loved them.
Yeah, because keep
Yeah.
in mind, for anybody that doesn't know the whole backstory lore listening to this, Thrawn is not new. Those books were written in the 80s or 90s.
91. He's been
Yeah.
around since
Mhm.
1991.
So
Rebels is not the first appearance. of
Rebels
Thrawn.
is not the first appearance. So
And I could spend a whole day talking about Rebels Thrawn, and honestly, I love Dave Filoni. He dropped the ball on Thrawn and Rebels.
Mhm.
He didn't do because Legends Thrawn is a little bit more ruthless, but Thrawn at his core is very calculating. He makes small moves that domino effect into big moves. Bombing an entire planet is not a Thrawn move.
yeah, no.
And I will forever be
Thrawn
angry about
would
that
not
ending in Rebels.
glass the planet.
That
Also,
was not Thrawn. That
little
was not Thrawn because he's also not evil. That's the thing that everybody misses when writing Thrawn is he is
he
not
just-
evil at his core.
he just
you
wins.
Read his prequel trilogy, his canon prequel trilogy. Everything he's doing to gain favor in the eyes of the Ascendancy and protect his people. He's not evil.
Yeah.
He's just doing the wrong thing.
She's referring to the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy, by the way, for anybody.
yes,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
I
feel
just like to clarify so
Filoni
people can go look
Yeah,
it up.
that's all
did-
good.
apart from glassing a planet, I feel like he did a semi-passable job as a interjectory character with Thrawn
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
like a main villain. Like if he had made Thrawn like an interjectory villain for like a couple of episodes, and not made him like the main villain with glassing a planet, I feel like he would have been passable. I feel like he would have.
we need a-
hit
yeah.
the
Because
bar.
once again, he's not evil. He's not a main villain. There's no
Mhm.
reason for him to be the main villain because
And there's no reason for him to glass a planet.
Because
There's
at
just
his
no
very
need.
core, he's not here to destroy the rebels. That's just because he ended up in the Empire. And it's funny because people are like, we need a Star Wars what if. I'm like, I need a what if Thrawn ended up with the Rebel Alliance.
Oh.
Yeah. That would be
Oh.
good.
It would have been over like that.
I also don't agree with like, which this is kind of foggy because I haven't watched the entirety of Rebels in a while, but I believe towards the end, Ezra like tries to beat or does beat Thrawn. No 14-year-old little Ezra is gonna, or I don't know how old he is. No,
No,
teenage
so-
Ezra is gonna beat Thrawn. Thrawn was
I remember
so
how
good.
Rebels ends.
No, and it's so funny because I loved Thrawn up until that last episode when he bombs the planet and then like Ezra kind of ends up winning against him. I was like, who wrote this? Because whoever wrote this did not read the novels because that would not have happened. Now Thrawn would have captured Ezra and taken him with him. Like Thrawn and Ezra are going to leave together no matter how you boil it. Like they're always going to end up together. But Thrawn randomly trying to shoot Ezra, I was like, what is this? Which, to be fair, he could have been really, really panicked. Because he does have a couple moments where he goes full panic mode and kind of loses himself, but not like that.
Yeah, no.
See, with Rebels, the way it ends is that it leaves a massive plot hole for the story to continue, and we never got like a continuation of that, so we don't know what actually happens after.
That's what Ahsoka is going to be, is where it
exactly, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Ezra.
Oh, that's gonna be so good.
And a lot of people have been like, "Oh man, I hope there's a fight between Thrawn and Ahsoka, and Thrawn kills Ahsoka." I'm like, no.
Bro, if
No.
Thrawn don't
Thrawn
fight.
kills Ahsoka-
He doesn't
I am
fight
no
Because
longer
physically.
that's
Star
He
not
Wars
fight.
Thrawn. Everybody's
he-
like, "Oh, Thrawn, big villain." I'm like, he
No.
is not a villain.
He-
He is not evil.
he fights
We need
with
to
his
stop
mind.
spinning him like that.
He's an
Stop spinning him
anti-hero.
like that. I'm gonna.
Yeah, he's
smack
an
some
anti-hero.
people. God.
Yeah, kind of like an anti-hero, yeah.
He is an
Yeah.
anti-hero, which brings me to another very, very random point. I've started watching Peaky Blinders lately. Thomas Shelby, the main character in it, is very much like Thrawn, just very calculating, everything for family. And I was like, oh, Cillian
Dom
Murphy would be a
Toretto.
good Thrawn.
Okay.
He'd be a good Thrawn, but he won't be because
Okay.
he's very like niche and not a lot of people know about him. But I was like, if they happen to pull that one way out of left field, I will lose my mind. Like,
Mhm.
absolutely lose my mind because you know he'd be great at it. He's a great villain. Scarecrow. That's all I gotta say.
True.
Scarecrow.
Except that Thrawn's not a
A
villain.
No, he's a good anti-hero. He's a good anti-hero.
Yeah.
But yes.
I was gonna
he's a
I was
good
gonna
villain. He's a
catch
good
you on
villain,
that
too.
one.
Yeah,
But
I,
yeah.
I
Thank you
totally,
for keeping me in line with that one.
I totally understand why
Appreciate it.
he's
There's
he,
more to
he
mess
needs
with
to be
you.
explored more. I mean, he has a bunch of novels, but a lot of Star Wars fans don't read. So, which is another
we need to
thing.
keep him. We
If
need
you
to keep
don't-
the novels consistent with the actual one.
Yeah, if you don't read any of the books and you're a Star Wars fan, and that's like the point I got to. I was like, I just know all of this. Like, you asked me something about Star Wars in the movies, I know it. What else can I go explore that I'll know and be able to understand? The books, my goodness, because I know a lot of them are not canon, but my goodness, the books will do so much for you. Go read the books. There are so many good stories, and there's countless Star Wars books that just you're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And there's extended universe knowledge. There's knowledge
Mhm.
that technically isn't canon but is still relevant. There's a bunch of just great stuff in the books.
Like
If
they
you want
if-
Rogue One to be even sadder,
Catalyst.
go read Rebel Rising. Rebel Rising will absolutely
Rebel Rising,
wreck
okay.
you. And then you go and
Yeah.
watch Rogue One again and you'll be like, I want to die. I want to die. I want to
I
die
heard,
right here, right now. I'm going to die.
I heard Catalyst was a very, very good Rogue One novel. It's I don't know exactly what it's about because I've only seen a review on it, but I've heard Catalyst brought up many, many times. I think it's by the same guy that I'm reading, James Luceno, but I'm not too sure. There,
I also need to read Lost Stars. I've heard Lost Stars is amazing.
I've heard Lost Stars is good. Stars is good.
I've heard Phasma is amazing.
Yes.
Oh.
And I've actually heard both Leia and Ahsoka are good too, which Claudia
I've
Gray
heard-
is just supposedly
yeah.
a very good author.
Claudia-
And she did Ahsoka, Leia, and Lost Stars. So
Claudia Gray, for me, is the second best Star Wars writer. Nobody can beat Timothy Zahn because he's written like
nobody can beat Timothy Zahn. Timothy Zahn is the best.
dozens of
If you
Star Wars
haven't-
movies.
To everybody
Books.
listening to this, even if you're not a reader, go listen to his audiobooks because I haven't listened. I'm not an audiobook person, but I've heard his audiobooks are absolutely fantastic. I've heard the narration of them. Holy cow, they're
A
beautiful.
lot of Star Wars
The Thrawn
audiobooks.
books. Anything by Timothy Zahn is just, it will be good. There is a guarantee that it will be good. Other than his time
Yeah.
skips. I hate his time skips because he doesn't warn you. He
Yeah.
does that in the canon trilogy. The first book, he'll just throw in like a 3-month time skip and give you no warning. And you're like, Timothy,
What's
Why?
happening?
What is happening?
Why?
Yeah.
Why am I
But-
3 months in the future?
Some big
like I
names.
was talking to another friend about it while I was reading, and he was like, "Oh yeah, they're bad." I was like, "Who said this
Yeah.
was a good idea?"
Yeah, some big names in the Star Wars writing universe for anybody that's going to get in reading. Claudia Gray is the canon novel person. She does the new canon models and usually canon novels, and usually they're all very, very well done. Timothy Zahn is the classic one. He's written most all of the Star Wars novels and some of the best Star Wars novels. And then James Luceno's dabbled in some, and then John Jackson Miller, I think is his name, is another one that's really good. And those are kind of some names if you wanted to get into Star Wars books. Those are kind of like the higher tier Star Wars writers that do a lot of books and get hired back on to do more books. So.
And then there's Beth Revis, who is kind of up and coming.
Mhm.
She did Rebel Rising.
And Princess
She's a
and
good
the
writer
Scoundrel.
on her own. Okay, so
Okay.
oh, that's right. She did do Princess and the Scoundrel, which I need to get. I need to read
All
it.
right. We have to rein this back in to our
Yeah.
to our final point.
Well, I could have a
We're
whole
We're really
nother
bad
episode.
at staying on track.
We could have a whole
Who
nother
said it was a
episode
good
on this.
idea to get a bunch of people with like attention issues and make a podcast?
That
would be this one, Garrett.
mainly Garrett.
That one.
Yeah.
I just
I
love the
think
fact
it's
that you're all
that one.
pointing fingers and none of our screens are lined up. So like Drew just pointed into oblivion. Like who?
I think
Oh,
it's,
so
I think it's that
Garrett's
one.
now
too.
over here now.
I think it's that one.
Yeah.
So this guy
Wherever
right here,
Garrett is.
Yeah, you're pointing into oblivion now, Holden. You're
Yeah.
like it's.
this guy right here, he
Bro, but like, what about that one though? Like the one back there.
uh-oh.
Are we talking
He's
about the shadow
angry.
people? Because
shadow
we don't like them.
people.
We're not including the shadow people.
Wait, what are they
See,
called?
Well,
Shade
my room is
creepers?
dark, so
Shadow
I have shadows all over the place. So that would be horrifying.
Shade creepers, shadow people.
All right.
For
what
those
is
of
our,
you who don't know, I think shade creepers are things from D&D. They're they're terrifying.
all right.
But
what is,
so our
what is
last
our
point. Last point is the Star Cruiser.
Yes.
The three of us
Something
are going.
We could talk about
into-
for a while.
in June.
I have
Yeah.
feelings about the Star Cruiser. I have
So-
a lot of
so-
feelings.
Let me kind of preface this with our whole where we stand right now with Star Cruiser. We're going in June of 2023.
Sweet.
If
Congratulations.
if they open it up, which right now, they're into. Which I was listening to a stream on this. They're going towards near the end of Q3, and they only have dates released to December. And if you know anything about Disney planning, 90 days is like when you're done planning. Like by 90
Yeah.
days,
Mhm.
you plan on that 90th
yeah.
day and you're done. There's nothing else you do after that. It is almost approaching. We're like 3 or 4 months out to January, and they have not released January. One thing that I'm nervous about, one thing that makes me nervous about them not releasing it is there's going to be a price increase. And I'm kind of nervous because they've already
yeah.
increased the portrait experience. And if they increase it any more than $6,000, which
It's
$6,000
just not going to be worth it
is
at
for
that point.
is for 4 people. We have 5.
6,000 is insane.
We may be taking 5. So
Mhm.
4 or 5. So if that's $6,000 plus add on another 1,000, for us to just go and stay a few days, maybe like 3 days extra in the parks and have a hotel for all of that is already approaching 10,000, and we haven't even got our flights booked or hotel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's
Mhm.
10,000
At that point,
minimum.
you might as well just drive.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, yeah.
Not
by the way, this
13
is-
hours.
See, I could drive.
Yeah, he.
It would be
could.
harder
We
for us
couldn't.
because we're like
a tip for
13
people
hours
going
away.
to Disney: if you live in a small town that can fly into Orlando Sanford, fly into Orlando Sanford. Don't deal with MCO. MCO will make Orlando will make you hate everything. I love Orlando Sanford. But that's my small plug.
Okay.
Yeah, Star Cruiser's neat.
That's really good.
The prices are insane. I was so excited for it. And honestly, I think my dad was more than willing to pay for the experience for us to go until we saw the price. And I saw it and talking with him, I was like, it's completely reasonable not to want to go because the price is absolutely insane. We thought about doing it like for me for graduation, but it's just for what you get.
You can get a car.
Even though you get a lot and it's immersive, but it's only 3 days of it. Like he was like, he and I got to talk about it. He was like, if it's a week, if it was a week, he'd be down for it.
It's 2 days. Like you leave on the third day at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You don't get to do anything on the third day.
And there's
2 days.
The third day, there's nothing. There's literally like a grab and go breakfast, and that is it. That's it.
Yeah. And like it looks amazing. And I follow a bunch of people that have done it, and I would give anything to do it. But I'm not paying $6,000 for what it is.
I would give anything except for $6,000.
And then they want to increase prices on a portrait experience for 30 minutes. Like, no. Then nobody's going to buy it.
I can take my own pictures.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
And retouch it in Photoshop.
I've had to learn how to do that on my own going to Galaxy's Edge. It's so hard to take pictures by yourself. It is so hard. I hate it.
Yeah, just in general, taking pictures by yourself is horrible. But
because you got to find somewhere to set your phone, and Galaxy's Edge has nowhere to set your phone.
Yep. And that's another
tripod.
That's another thing that we're kind of doing is we're starting this podcast because we do, Star Wars stuff anyway, but like we're trying to get some type of maybe passive income in the future to just help kind of cover the cost because it's going to be such a big hit on us. Like it's looking at like $2,000 per person, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Just for that little bit of time, and that's just to cover the getting there and getting back and staying there. That does not include anything we might want to spend. So it's too much, and Disney is and this could be again a whole nother episode. Disney is moving away from the average consumer, and I think that's a big problem. And it's not magical anymore. It's money-ical. It's just money. And Bob Chapek needs to go. That's that's a cold take. Everybody thinks Bob Chapek needs to go, but they signed another contract, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. They did.
It's ridiculous.
For another 3 years.
It's ridiculous. He needs to
leave.
leave
tomorrow.
Oh, we're all dead.
Even Bob Iger said, I don't like this guy. Like, him and his bald head can go leave the company and drop these prices back down to something that's actually reasonable.
We need Josh Del Moro to take over. I think
we need Dave Filoni.
Just give the whole sell Disney to Dave Filoni.
Needs to take Disney. Filoni and Favreau could solve so many problems.
Oh yeah.
Because what they don't understand is they can increase prices, but at this point, people just say, "I'm not going to go." If they increase prices, like we were going to do the portrait experience. We kind of really want to do it. It was $99. That's a good deal. Especially for what you're already paying. They increased the price. Not doing it. Yep. All I had to do was send the picture. There was no fighting. It was just no disagreement. It was just sent the picture. Everyone got the message. We're not doing it. $3.99. I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous.
My parents have been down probably 3 or 4 different times since we've had our annual passes. We have used Genie Plus twice. And it was just because the one time we used it was because we had friends in town and it was busy and they were using it. So to keep up with them, we used it. And then when Mom and Dad came on July 4th, we used it on July 4th. And that was it. Like we don't use it. Which, speaking of annual passes, we weren't sure if we were going to renew ours. But the Magic Band Plus thing?
Mm-hmm.
So my mom saw yesterday an article. They're making an electric parade themed one. Which is leading people to think they're bringing Electric Parade back to East Coast.
I think they are.
I think they are too.
I truly hope they are because I said my mom that I was like, "Look, they better bring it back." She was like, "So now there's no dispute about renewing the annual passes." I was like, absolutely not." Like,
yeah, that'd be dope. It's just
that's the other thing is annual price passes and how limited they are.
Yeah.
The only one you can get out of state is $1,300 unless you happen to be DVC. And then that one, the only one that you can get with it is $900.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already released. You can get it. Magical Blade. Yeah, the Electrical Light Blade Parade. Parade.
It's just
Easy for you to say.
It's also something that frustrated me is the only 2 Star Wars related ones is Millennium Falcon and Darth Vader.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy
yeah,
one.
they need a
They're
bigger
cool.
variety.
You can do the
on
stuff
that.
in Galaxy's Edge, but it's not worth paying $38 for. I looked at them and I thought about it, and then I was like, because where I'm there all the time, I mean, I would use it, but not worth it.
I'm gonna get one. I want to
Weren't
do the bounty
they-
hunt.
Weren't they originally dropped at like what were the? I'm pretty sure the original prices for Magic Band Plus was like $100. Was it not?
Yeah, they were like $100.
They're $37. I went into
Okay,
Epcot
so-
the other day and saw them because I was like, I just want to see how much they are. Because I was like, if they're a decent price, I might buy one. But I was like,
Yeah,
But they don't
I
do
think
That's
I'm
much.
gonna
what they are
40.
now. Yeah, that's what they
And
are
even-
now.
Even
But-
when I look at their interactive elements, I'm like, that's just okay.
it's not a lot. It's not a bunch.
Like, oh, that
Yeah.
light's pink. Okay, my band's pink, and it just is
the
pink.
only one I
Like,
would
if it had a
use would be the
display,
bounty
that would
hunter
be really
thing.
cool.
And the 2
Yeah.
times I've gone by, it's so incredibly busy that I'm like, well, now I don't have an interest in doing it.
Mm-hmm. It's like
I personally want to do it.
all it
because
does
why
is
not?
okay.
But it's busy all the time.
here's the thing: it gets you credits. This is another big problem again with like the entirety of Galaxy's Edge. You go in there, you do missions, you see like eyes pop out or whatever. You get a little dialogue, you get credits. You can't do anything with the credits. Same
Yeah,
thing.
you
in,
can't buy anything with the
Same
credits.
thing in the
Yeah.
app.
Yeah.
You go stuff, do missions, and then you have stuff, and you don't do anything with the stuff. So it's like it just kind of
What was
cuts
the
off.
point?
And,
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
What was the
Like,
point?
Why even do
the
it?
stuff?
like you're
That's
just hacking the
something I
same
wish
panel
we
over
could-
and over again, or walking to
Yeah.
the same space over and over again. So it's like,
That's what I wish we could do. Just in general, let us buy stuff,
yeah,
Yeah.
or at
Small
least
stuff.
buy
I'm
stuff
not
off of
asking
each
for
other.
Big things.
buy us a pass to let us go walk in this secret room or whatever. That would be a really cool thing for. Or
Yeah.
here's I'm gonna go on a spiel here. One of the best things Disney has ever done that is interactive is not the Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom. My favorite thing I ever did with Disney's interactive stuff was the Pirates of the Caribbean interactive missions. Nobody knew about
Yes,
it. It was never crowded.
Yes,
Do you even know what I'm talking about?
that,
Hey,
Yes,
Alyssa?
I do, and
yes.
I've been meaning to do it
I
on one of my
love
days
that
when I go
thing.
to Magic Kingdom because I'm like,
Amazing.
it's
And
just
you get
me.
a free Pirates Fast Pass.
If you do
got a
2
free
missions,
Pirates
you get
Fast
okay.
Pass.
Think about this. Missions take 15 minutes. You do
At
2 of them,
most.
30
At
minutes.
most.
At most. If you're not hustling, if you're taking a leisure stroll. Usually
Oh, well,
average
no, I
wait
will be
time
hustling because that's the only setting I have in
Yeah.
Disney.
average wait time for pirates 30 to 45 minutes. You could A, stand in line and wait to get on the ride, or B, go do 2 missions, have fun doing it because they're really fun, they're really interactive, they're really good. I like them a lot. I've done all of them and thoroughly enjoyed it. You go do that, do 2 of them, 15 minutes, get your fast pass, go on the ride in 30 minutes, and you've just done 2 minutes and had fun.
Yep.
And you get a card and a map. And then you go on, and it's like you're in character because you just did this amazing interactive experience.
Yeah.
Experience. And then they got rid of it for a while, and we weren't able to do it. And I was like,
It's back.
you know, this is amazing. If it's back, I don't know if they give you fast passes anymore, but it's still
I don't
worth
know
it.
if they
I'd still
do.
go do it.
but I know it's back because I've seen people doing it, and every time I walk by, I'm like, man, I should do that today, and I never.
It
do
is a little
You-
rough. It needs some refurbishing. Some parts you have to tap in weird places with your Magic Band.
You have to
Still a lot of
you
fun.
have to be there for a
My
while
favorite
trying
interactive
to-
thing in all of the Disney parks was that. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and you get a free fast pass. So it's like,
Yeah,
of course,
Why not?
why not?
yeah. And
I mean, the
w-
queue
and
is
we
wonderful.
would
but
we'd take our party of 8 people. 8 people. We'd take our party of 8. We'd go. 6 of them would sit down. 2 of us would go run the missions. Everybody walks in at the final moment and get your fast pass. So we'd have fast passes for everybody.
It
So they
works.
just chill, eat food,
yeah,
get a drink, whatever.
you get
While
you're
we
sitting
go
two of your
do the
guys,
missions.
and you just whatever.
And what we
And
would
it was
do, I think
cool
we'd
for us.
disperse and do 2 missions at once and then come back, which I'm not sure on that. We might have done 2. Which I would honestly recommend just doing one, then doing the next one together as one group, because there's a story, and I just love that thing. It was so fun. It was so fun.
It is very fun. It is wonderful. I think that they should do more stuff like that. Like, okay, if you
not the Magic Band Plus, just the good old fashioned Magic Band interactive element stuff coming out of the water, stuff moving. And nobody knew about it, which was the cool thing, because nobody knows about it, and you just go and you do it, and you don't have to worry about people being there, and you have your story element, and it's really cool. So
I do like the fact that they have.
I rarely see people there.
In the Magic Band Plus. I do like that it's like, you got something. I mean, you got light, speed haptics, and responsiveness. You have bounty hunts. I think for me, if they add a couple more things, it's worth it. As long as there's like something else that they build off of, which they probably will, knowing that it's a whole new kind of Magic Band. Like they're gonna make more stuff off of it. But like if they keep going with it and they just keep going down this train of like. Because didn't they take out the Sorcerer's Apprentice thing?
Yeah, I think they got rid of that.
Sorcerer's and Magic Kingdom was taken out, I think, before COVID even happened. It's been gone for a while. They've just now finished covering everything back up, as far as I know.
Yeah, so I wonder what they're going to do with that.
So if they do...
They covered everything up. They got rid of all the stuff.
Yeah, but they'll probably make something out of it.
I think they should keep... If they get rid of the pirates, I'll be mad. I wasn't too mad about the sorcerers. Because sorcerers never worked. It worked when I was a child, but by the time we went back, never worked. And I just got angry
I never did it. And I had a friend that collected like all of the cards. Like she was hardcore. She had all of the cards. She had, I think there were a couple pens that went with it. She had everything that went with it, but she just did it as a kid.
Another thing,
it didn't work.
I was watching this like analysis of like why that game or that like element of thing was not as fun as it could have been. There's no like element of loss. You don't lose anything. Like if you go out and you fail a battle or something, or you go to the wrong place, or some aspect of this mission that you are on, you are unable to complete. It's like, oh, well, we'll give it to you anyways. Sure. Parks made for kids for some parts, but like there should be an element to where at least at some point you have lost something. And it's not just handed to you even though you've failed. Like as a kid, even that wouldn't be fun. Like that wasn't fun to me.
Yeah, because it was good though, because if they had elements of loss, most of the time we'd be like, cast your spell and you're standing with your card. If it worked, it doesn't work, there should be an element of loss. But like if it was a fully functioning system, see, that's hardware more than like the game. I'm talking about purely just the game mechanics, and not the hardware that they were using that was failing. Like if purely going off of game mechanics, it would have been better if they like had some element of loss. There was no element of loss at all. But I think we should wrap it up with that. Yeah. This is a long episode. Long episode. But it's been my. That's what happens when you throw me in the mix. No, it's really good because our other episodes were just a list, and we were like, okay, the lists are good, but we kind of need to move away from those. And there were. It's better to have these longer episodes because it's actually like interesting. You're not just going down a list. Here's my opinion. Here's your opinion. So I'm honored to know that you brought me in to make the list a little bit longer. You were actually before we hadn't even made the podcast, and we were like, eventually, like once we do our introductory episodes, we want to bring Alyssa on because she lives in the parks, and we didn't even know her name, but we just knew that like we wanted to have this happen. because we had kind of a semi-plan put down from the beginning.
We did have no plan.
No plan. Yeah. I live in the parks. Hopefully soon I will be living in the film industry. So hopefully here in a little bit I may be able to get you guys a little bit more insider-wise as much as I possibly can. But yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully soon.
Hopefully.
At some
Also,
point.
if you ever need to like make anything with moving parts, let me know because I
Hopefully
am
about
studying
this
for.
time next year I will be already on a set somewhere doing something.
As soon as they release the applications for spring 2023 of the college program, I will be applying. As soon as they release applications.
Another person I can bother in the parks.
Yes.
I will take
bother me.
take
I don't mind it.
You could be a cast member sweeping trash.
Yeah. I'm not gonna sweep trash. Okay,
Happiest. They're the happiest
no,
trash sweepers on the planet.
they
really
are,
are.
but they're
Now
also
they wear
trash
outfits
sweepers.
that make them look like the orderlies from Stranger Things, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be a janitor. That's not.
Don't jinx yourself. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't jinx yourself.
It'd be nice, man. All you gotta do is clean up trash and trash cans every 30 feet or 30 steps, so you don't have to worry about it. Like most people will just throw away
I
the
will
trash.
be a lifeguard or a hotel management staff before I be a janitor.
I don't know about that hotel management staff. You get yelled at if you're hotel management staff.
Hey, I worked at Chick-fil-A. I got yelled at a lot.
It's so funny because people will be like on set, people talk about you got to have a tough skin. You got to be able to like take flack and give it right back. And people are like, you're just, you're so easy to work with because we can mess with you. I'm like, yes, I worked in fast food for a year.
Specifically,
I don't care.
Fast food for
Chick-fil-A.
2 years.
I literally do not care.
Mm-hmm.
Like-
Yeah, no, I am unfazed.
And that's
'cause
also
what's
why
really
I can
funny-
like just like I can work for hours on end. People are like, yeah, but there's going to be long days in film. I'm like, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But what's
I'm
really
aware.
funny is people would like get angry at me, and it wasn't my fault. Like it's the kitchen's job to like cook food correctly. I don't know, stuff like that. And so I was always the face. I always took it. Well, what's really funny is when they got mad, stuff like their large their large coffee would somehow magically be a small cup, and there would be just this odd taste of Chick-fil-A sauce in it as well, which I could never explain. I could never explain it.
For
I'm
me, it
kidding.
was just the higher pitched the my pleasure was, the more angry I was.
Freaking.
Oh yeah.
I still have not shaken the customer service voice. It still shows itself every now and then. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
there it is again.
Sometimes I do have the customer service voice.
All
I was
right.
told
I went
all
from
the
a
time
grocery
this
store to
summer-
an ice cream shop, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was told all the time this summer, like, you need to go into sales. You need to be you need to go into marketing. And I'm like, why? They're like, you can sell stuff. And I'm like, oh. Like I was selling my D&D campaign that I'm DMing, and in the group text, I went on this whole like hello adventures. And like this whole like storytelling like whole
That'll
thing.
do it.
And one of the guys was like, I don't care what it's about. I don't care what it is.
I'll take 5.
That was an excellent
I'll do
sell. I'm in. And so
I'll take 5.
my homie goes, I don't care what it is, I'm in. And so he's literally in. He's literally in.
All right.
Like that is like they were like, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I have a random skill that I didn't know. I can sell stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, that is the end of our episode, our mega episode.
Drew, I think we got Drew is gonna do our outro today. So
Yeah, so before we run off on another tangent, thank you for visiting Command Bridge. These have been your captain speaking with our guest on board, Alyssa, and we will see y'all next episode.